Hey guys, we're jumping right into the makeovers today. So I went to a yard sale this morning and I found this metal tray for $2. It's in great shape. It just needs a little bit of a makeover, and right away I knew what I wanted to do with it. Now this faux rust color is notorious for bleeding through for me, so immediately I took it outside. I gave it a couple of coats of shellac, let that dry, and now I'm covering it with 2 coats of DIY paint in the color White Swan. I really want to be able to wet distress this, so that's why I'm not using Fusion, because DIY paint is water soluble until it is sealed, and it makes it so easy to wet distress. You could also dry brush over all these details, but I did love that underneath color. I just felt it was just a little too dark. And at first I thought that I would put a paint inlay in the center. I even had one picked out, but once I got it painted, I just decided that it was enough. Now please do not be discouraged by the look of the cloth that I am using, because I promise it is clean. It has definitely seen a lot of wet distressing in its days. For project number 2, I picked up this red crock. It's Walmart brand, but it was in great shape. These are like utensil crocks. I love to get these and put transfers on them. And for this one, I wanted to use these candy canes. I'm sorry, this is from a retired transfer pack, but IOD has so many Christmas transfers to choose from, and I still have plenty in stock at susieonthefarm.com if you want to get your hands on some. To put on an IOD transfer on this ceramic is so easy. You just rub and lift, and I choose not to seal these decor items. They can still be wiped off. They just can't be put in the dishwasher. These transfers are pretty durable. IOD does recommend that you seal them, but when I'm doing it on something glossy like this, I think it will be okay. So project number 3 is actually a 3-in-1. I picked up these cutting boards, or trivets actually. They have that ceramic tile in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and paint them aviary, little black dress, and marquee, and then I'm going to paint the center ceramic part in white. Real quick, I got all the colors painted except for the white, and I wanted to come in with a little tip here before I add the white, because 2 reasons actually. I do plan on using a paint inlay on that center part, therefore I'm going to be misting them, and I use DIY paint, which is water soluble, so I went ahead and sealed all of that paint in before I started. And the other reason is when I paint this white on, if I happen to get some on those colored paints, I can easily wipe them off with a baby wipe, which I did, but I've already done all that. Now to use the paint inlay, I've picked out 3 different ones. This one is from this year's 12th Night paint inlay, I think. And to use a paint inlay, it's very easy. You lay down some wet paint, and then you add your image into that wet paint. I like to use a brayer on a flat surface, but you can just use your finger to get it flattened out really well, and then you mist it, and I dab off any excess water. I'm going to complete the same process with the other 2. I think these 2 little wreaths are from last year's Christmas inlay called Gloria, and I do still have some of those in stock as well. So I'm repeating the same process for all 3, and I do not know why my camera keeps moving. I've got to get a new arm, I guess. It's kind of wore out. It has really been used. So the fun part is actually coming up. Once I complete this process and I let them dry, we are going to, this is, like I said, the fun part, pulling all this back. So you take your mister bottle once they're dry and you re-wet them. Let them sit just a minute, and then you can pull back the paper to reveal that that beautiful image is now transferred into your paint, just like you painted it on there. Now, as many of you know, I am on a mission to use up all my open transfers. So they're going on everything and anything. To finish these off, I added some complimentary holly, berries, just really anything that I thought would look good with these paint inlays on these cutting boards. And I just added as many as I could, and I finished them off with some twine, some berries, and some greenery, and they came out really, really cute. This was also a fun little batch thing, so you could do. They actually had a bunch of these at the thrift store, and now I'm wishing I would have got them all. I did go back yesterday, and they're still there, but I decided to wait until next week, so hopefully that color will only be $1, and I'll just grab the rest of them if they're still there. The final step for these was sealing up all these transfers, and for that I used DIY Big Top. Project is not necessarily a thrift flip. This is a DIY. I had made these snowman faces with hats years ago, and I had made 4 of them. I put them together and stamped the word snow on there. Well, they didn't sell in my booth the year that I made them, and they got put up in storage, and I just found them this year. So I decided to make them over individually. First, I gave them both a fresh coat of paint, and then I poured up a few of the items in the winter forage mold with some resin. Now I'm taking one of Connie Lines and Designs 3x5 rice papers. Sorry, I cannot remember the name of this one because I love every one of her snowman and snowmen rice papers, and there are quite a few. So you can just look under Connie Lines and Designs on my website, and they're all listed there with photographs. I'm going to decoupage this one on using, looks like what's the very last of my Fusion decoupage and transfer gel. And decoupaging with rice paper is so simple. It's not as fragile as regular decoupage paper, so you pretty much just lay it down into your medium and then put another layer on top, and that's all there is to it. So I'm deciding which of these, and right away it was a no-brainer for me. I had to use the holly and berries, but first I need to give it a coat of paint. So I'm using Aviary and Marquee. Aviary for the leaves, Marquee for the berries, of course. And I gave this a quick spray seal before moving on to the next step. I just didn't want to take the chance of, while I was gluing it down or anything else, I didn't want to take a chance of rubbing off any of that paint. To glue it down, I'm using Tite Bond Quick and Thick. This is definitely my go-to glue. It is amazing hold. I've never had anything not hold with this glue. I'm just smoothing it out with my fingers, and now there is going to be some excess. That's no problem. I'm going to stick it down. I'll use a paintbrush to clean up any big globs, and then the rest of it will dry clear. You won't even be able to tell. To finish this off, I am using some garland transfers because y'all know I'm putting them on everything, right? Might as well. I put a little on the hat brim and at the bottom, and we're done with this. It just needs a final seal. I also added a sawtooth hanger onto the back so this can be hung on the wall. I hope that y'all have enjoyed all of today's projects as much as I enjoyed making them. I hope that you'll give this video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed so you can see all the thrift flips that I do every Wednesday night. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great night, and I will see you soon.